Good day, students. How are you today? I hope you are coping with the the situation we find ourselves. With you is your ICT teacher, Mr. Jude Agassi. Before we proceed, I would like to encourage us to key into this online lesson, make basis of our time, and I know that with time, very soon, we'll all come back to meet ourselves and we'll continue from where we stopped. So please make best use of your time, help your parents, don't play away your time. Time is of essence. All right. So today we'll be looking at the topic algorithm. And before we move further, we have to look at some of the objectives we need to achieve in the course of this lesson. So by the end of the lesson, students should be able to define algorithm, state the properties of algorithm, state the functions of algorithm. Now write simple algorithms for solving problems. Definition. An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure designed to perform an operation which will lead to the sought result if followed correctly. Algorithms have a definite beginning and a definite end and a finite number of steps. When we say definite beginning and a definite end, it simply means that it is clearly stated. The beginning and the end is clearly stated. Now, it also has a finite number of steps, which means that it has an end. Okay, so it can also be defined as a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. Now, simply put, algorithm can be defined as a step-by-step process of solving a problem, step-by-step procedure. So anything that you can achieve by following a step-by-step procedure can also be referred to as an algorithm. Now, for instance, if you need to cook egusi soup now, first of all, you need to go to the market, you buy your ingredients. When you come to the house, you prepare them. You see that when you are cooking your soup, you follow a particular process. You don't just jump into conclusion. You first of all, you wash your pot, you put water, then you follow the procedure till you achieve the result. It can be referred to as an algorithm. Now, if somebody is ill and goes to the hospital, for instance, a doctor first of all examined you before administering any drugs. So that process of examining you in order to find out what is wrong with you, in order to provide solution, can also be referred to as algorithm, step-by-step procedure. And in algorithm, you don't jump any procedure. You follow it sequentially, one after the other, in order to achieve a particular task. Okay, so let's quickly look at the properties of algorithm. Now, in properties of algorithm, we have the finiteness. You have properly defined. An algorithm is properly defined. It is finite, meaning that it has an end. Inputs, outputs, is effective, and then independent to any other programming language. Independent to any other programming language. So you see, it does not depend any other, it does depend on programming language. It is independent to any other programming language. So let's quickly look at some of the functions of algorithm. The first one, we have the input. Algorithm receives input. Yes, it receives input. 0 or more quantities are externally supplied. So one of the functions is that it receives input. Another function is that algorithm produces output. When it receives input, the next thing you expect is to generate result, which is the output. So it must produce a result. Now, the third one is precision. Precision. The steps are precisely followed. That means it follows step by step. Instruction, just like I told you before, it follows a pattern, step by step process. Precision. So now I say each instruction is clear and unambiguous. You don't use ambiguous words in writing an algorithm. The other one is feasible. Feasibility. Feasibility. It is feasible. It can be easily done. It must be feasible to execute each word instruction. Now the other one is flexibility. Okay, it must be flexible. It should also be possible to make changes in the algorithm without putting so much effort on it. So it has to be flexible. It has to freestyle. Now we have generality. Generality means that it's not specific. So the algorithm applies to a set of inputs. Then we have finiteness. Algorithm must complete after a finite number of instructions have been executed. So it follows a pattern and it has an end. Okay, so all these functions of algorithm can also serve as the characteristics of algorithm. Okay, let's solve some examples. Right, let's write some algorithms. Now, first one we have algorithm for sum of two numbers. Now, if you are asked to write an algorithm to calculate the sum of two numbers. Now, first of all, look at the process here. You see, step 1, you start. Remember, we say it's finite. It has an end, it has a beginning and end. Step 1, we start. Step 2, enter two numbers in A and B. Enter two numbers in A and B. Step 3, add A and B and store in C. Add A and B and store in C. Step 4, display C. Step 4, display C. And step 5, end. Now you remember when we are treating our programming, when we are using BASIC to write some programs. In this case, if you are writing a program, if you have to write a program when values are not given, maybe for instance you have to write a program to calculate two numbers or program to add two numbers and the values are not given, remember you use the input statement. But when values are given, use the assignment statement, which is the let statement. So this is different from program. This is just an algorithm, a step-by-step procedure. You know, the step-by-step that you follow in order to achieve the result. So you find out that when you're looking at this algorithm, you find out that no step is skipped. You follow them the way it's supposed to be, precisely. Okay, so that's how to write the algorithm when you're asked to write algorithm to calculate the sum of two numbers. Okay, let's look at the next example. Now, you're asked to write algorithm to check whether the input number is even or odd. Okay, and I hope you know that odd numbers are numbers that when divided by 2 you have a remainder, while even numbers are numbers when divided by 2 the remainder will be 0. Okay, just like we have 2, 4, 6, these are even numbers. So if you divide them, there will be no remainder. The remainder will be 0. Okay, so now look at what the program is saying. Algorithm to check whether the input is even or odd. So what you need to do also, your first step is start. You have to start the procedure. Then second step, enter a number in A. Enter a number in A. So the third step, check if it is even or odd. Now at this point in time, you have to check whether that number that you have entered is even or odd. That is where, if you are drawing a flow chart, that is where your decision symbol will come. So step 3, check if it is even or odd. Now step 4, if even, print even. You see that? If even, print even. You see even in quotes. If even, print even. Now you see in bracket, you see A mode 2. A mode 2. Now in programming, mode simply means remainder after integer division. Remainder after integer division. So A mode 2 is equal to 0. So if A mode 2 is equal to 0, that means the remainder is equal to 0. And if the remainder is equal to 0, just know that the number you have entered is even. Because, for example, you have 4. Now, 4 divided by 2, you have 2. Remainder 0. That's why we have A mode 2, which is equal to 0. So for you to have the remainder to be 0, it means that the number is even. So if the number you entered is 6, we have 2 divided by 6 divided by 2, we have 3, remainder 0. So for us to have a remainder 0, it means that the number is even. But if we have 3 over 2, which is 1 remainder 1, remember, it's no longer even, it's now odd. So use this condition to test whether it's even or odd. That's why we have A mode 2 equals 0. And I told you that mode simply means remainder after integer division. So if the remainder here is 0, it simply means that the number is even. Then if the remainder is not 0, it means that the number is odd. Now look at step 5. Else, print odd. So it means that if the remainder is not equal to 0, the computer should print odd. But if the remainder is 0, computer should print even. So step 6, you end the program. That's algorithm. Okay, let's look at example 3. Here we are asked to write an algorithm for calculating area of a circle. Area of a circle. Now, first of all, what you need to understand here is, I've told you before, my students, that for you to be a good programmer, you must be a good mathematician. Because you can't write program without mathematics, good knowledge in mathematics. Because at every point in time, formula will be required. Now look at this question. Write an algorithm for calculating area of a circle. Now, if you don't know the formula for area of a circle, you can't write this algorithm. So first of all, looking at this question, what comes into your mind is, what is the area of it? What's the formula? What's the formula for area of a circle? So if you have achieved that, then you are good to go. So the first step is, step 1, you start. I've told you start. Second step, read value of R, our radius. Read value of R, our radius. Step 3, set pi equal to 3.14. Set pi equal to 3.14. Now step 4, calculate area. Remember, we are trying to calculate the area of a circle. Calculate area, which is equal to pi times r times r, which is equal to pi r squared. But here you write it pi times r times r. Step 5, you print area. And step 6, you stop or you end. Okay? So let's look at example 4. Example 4 says, write an algorithm to calculate the area of a rectangle. Write an algorithm to calculate the area of a rectangle. Now, I've told you before, the first thing you need to understand or you need to look for is first of all the area, the formula for calculating area of a rectangle. So if you have gotten that, then you are good to go. All right. So first step here, we normally we start. Second step, you accept value for length L. You accept value for length L. Okay. Now the third step, you accept value for breadth B. You accept value for breadth B. Now the fourth step, you calculate the area, which is equal to length times breadth. Step 5, you print area. On step 6, you stop or you end. Okay, I think it's simple. It's just a step-by-step process of solving a problem. Okay, now I have an assignment for you. Algorithm is just a very short topic. I have an assignment for you. Okay. In this assignment, you are expected to write an algorithm for the following problems. Write an algorithm for the following problems. A, to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle. Remember, the first thing you need to understand or you need to know is the formula. If you don't know the formula, you cannot write this algorithm. It's not possible. The first thing you do is to know the formula, then you write down the steps. Okay, so B, to calculate the average of 10 numbers. Calculate the average of 10 numbers. Number C, to calculate area of a triangle. Calculate the area of a triangle. And the fourth one, you calculate the area and perimeter of a square. Calculate the area and perimeter of a square. So for you to do this effectively, you must know the formula in order to write the algorithm. Now, the algorithm is what will help you to write the program. Like I told you, it's just a step-by-step process of solving a problem. Just like what we have done is after this you do this, after this you do that. Before you know it, you get to the solution. So that is that's what algorithm is all about. So please try and do this assignment and submit to our email fgcphcdgclass@gmail.com. Please take your lectures very seriously, because we might not have time to go back to these topics again. Please make best use of your time, and by the grace of God, very soon we'll all come back to school to continue our business. Thank you and God bless you. I remain your ICT teacher, Mr. Jude. Have a lovely day and God bless you.